Okay, Ashley, start us off.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Can you pull up the PowerPoint? There we go. Okay, not prepared. My clicker. Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started, and we're starting off with Jeff this week. We had some thoughts from him at the end of last week where he was talking about multitasking. We did like a little activity where you write down the alphabet and the numbers 1 through 26, and then you do them simultaneously.
Okay, let me explain. They were here, Hillary and Shana were here, so we were talking about multitasking and what a fallacy it is. You know, when people say, I'm so good at multitasking, I do this, I got 10 things going on at once, I can juggle all this stuff. So we did this little exercise, and to show the time difference it takes to do 2 different tasks. It was really, really simple. Like write 1 through 26 as fast as you can. Okay, and we timed ourselves. And then now write the alphabet as fast as you can. And we timed ourselves. Then what we did is, okay, now combine those, do 1, A, 2, B, and do both tasks, but go back and forth. And on average, it took at least double the amount of time to do the same 2 tasks. And what would have been interesting is to do 3 or 4 as you move around, but just with the 2, I had heard on a podcast or a book I was reading or whatever as an example, and I never did it. It's like, okay, that'd be great for team meeting to actually do it, to see
how much time
to test it, right? And so we talked about that. Ashley had the slide. Productivity is never an accident. It is always a result of a commitment to excellence, intelligence, planning, and focused effort. Focus is the key there. So we kind of end our team meetings with a thought like this, and then we kind of recap as we start again. And what this did for me is, because we did that exercise, it came up several times just in us talking about our agenda for the day and the things that we're doing. It's just like, no, we want to go from here to here. And there's different steps. We got to do this one, then this one, then this one, not like go back and forth on all of them. And it just made me more conscientious.
And then you do more efficient with your times, that basically
more efficient with the time and just getting that one task done sooner, because I have a lot of open-ended tasks that have been started that don't really get finished because we start other things. So that was just a really good thing to discuss and talk about and to think about with multitasking, because some of us are proud about being multitaskers.
I'm just curious if
I'm not a multitasker.
I'd be curious if Shana and Hillary had any ahas from that during their week. Because I went to another class that talked about the same type of thing, but it was about systems. It was it was like literally jumbled things, you know, and they showed us and asked us to find the numbers in this big jumbled mess. And then they showed us the system with those numbers in blocks, and literally people were able to, because they could see the system, they could go so much farther within the task. And so it kind of went right along here, because like in my business, I bebop all over the place. I'm literally, okay, he's already had a treat, so I don't know why he's getting.
You just look at me a minute ago.
We're giving attention to each other. I'm right here.
It's funny on the camera.
Yeah, he's been out, he's got his treat. But I think those are some really big things that Terry, you're really good at that, though. You're not.
Feels like a
He's a good
No,
multitasker.
it's really hard because like if you compose a lot of emails that are formal emails, right, that you're sending out to customer facing stuff. If you work with numbers a lot, if you're doing spreadsheets, you know, legal contracts, stuff like that. I mean, it is tough to not focus, because you can't screw it up, you can't get it wrong, right?
Yeah.
It has to be right. And if other people are relying on that and you're doing the draft and you got to send it to some, you know, whatever it is, it does
Stay on that.
matter. And
So when you're doing that, what do you do that helps you focus on that one task? Is it just sheer will?
well, yeah, I mean, you just do it. You don't look at your email, you don't take your phone calls, you know, you you have to, it's weird because I show you, since you're in computer mode, I come to spreadsheets like that, yeah, geez, I just get QuickBooks, you know, you kind of you get cross-eyed, you're looking at this thing, you know, and then your personality changes and you're like, but I don't know, it's just, you kind of.
He's just really good though. He can shift gears faster and better than anybody I know. Like he can literally be focused on something. I can go in and just say, I really need you to help me with this really quick.
And then he's
And
focused
he'll
on-
drop it and he'll come and help me, but then he'll go right back to what he's doing. I
I
can't.
don't know, it's just, to me, it's just concentration and focus, you know how, and I don't know if you guys are like this, but sometimes in my mind, on there are days, I don't know if it's because of something I drank, ate, my diet, my state, but man, my mind works with numbers really well. And then other days I can't add 2 + 2 and I'm going, oh my God, you know, and I don't know what that is, but it's a focus issue. And so what I try to do is just, just focus on what I'm working on. I used to work in the open bullpen, offices in
Yeah.
big companies that had 20, 30 people in there, right? Well, we were in that every day. And so it wasn't like you had quiet. You just had to, there's noise, there's people, there's talking, there's, interruptions. And you just have to block it all out. Just focus in. I don't know if I just got used to doing
Well, I
that.
also think what helped you is you've always worked from home. You, like, even though you've had those corporate jobs, you've always had jobs that you've been able to work from home. So with small kids, it's.
Kind of what happened with Terry.
Yeah,
He's
he's
done it
always
for
had, yeah, he's always
I don't know.
been able to focus and tune out the noise of the kids and everything else.
So we
Sometimes
would
not a
call
good
you an outlier. When we're looking at the data.
thing. Yeah, yeah. That's it. It's all right in category. I'd have to finish one task in order to do another, to be more efficient.
Yeah. The reason I asked if you do anything is because I do. If I'm gonna focus, because I'm doing something, but my mind is still jumping, right? Even though I'm just still apparently working on this one thing. So headphones and instrumental type music. I have an app called Brain FM. I was telling the guys about last week. It's got like creativity modes, focus mode, deep work, and it picks the music based on the tempo and probably the frequency and stuff like that. But with the headphones in, it's kind of like white noise at night for me. Going to bed, I gotta have the fan on, so that I can quiet down. That helps me focus on the things. And so when I do that, I'm way more efficient because I'm truly present on that one task.
Jeff, one thing that I do too, and I don't know, this is just kind of weird, but if I have a bunch of stuff to do and then I get some momentum doing something, I don't fight it, right? If for some reason I'm interested in doing this task and I really get into it, even though it might not have been A1 on my list, I'll just do it, right? Because my mind's into it and I just
I'm
go
there.
I don't fight it, right? That I do a lot of that. So
Awesome. Hillary, Shayna, you guys got any input on multitasking and our conversation that we had last week and to now?
It was definitely a thought-provoking topic for sure. So I definitely felt like it was a little bit more of like a focus for me for the week of just like, no, I'm not going to multitask because I saw how the results from that, so I'm just going to finish this and then I'll go to this. And I felt like, I did that for a little bit for sure. But it was definitely front of mind, after that meeting last week. So.
Well, that's good. And that's kind of the point, right? So that, because we just go about our routines and, we need reminders. So thinking about it hopefully makes us feel a little bit more purposeful. Shayna?
So for me, it was more of an awareness of how much, let's see, how do I put this? How much multitasking is actually, for me anyway, a lack mentality, because I multitask and bounce around because I'm afraid I'll forget what I just thought of doing. So I'm going to go in and do it and I shift and then I'm like, I got to do this so I don't forget. And I realized that that's just more of a lack awareness. And so this is something I've been, obviously my whole life has been like, but I started, as I'm doing some tasks and something comes to my mind, instead of like thinking I have to jump to that, I just have a little notepad next to me and just write it down. And then I keep going with what I'm doing. So then I don't have that fear of forgetting what it was that I wanted to go back to. So that kind of helps. And it's an ongoing thing for me because I have 26 tabs on my computer all the time and I'm constantly doing multiple things. and I have a lot of unfinished tasks. And so that is something that I'm working to change, and so I can have more of a completion energy with all the things that I'm doing.
That's
But I
awesome.
never,
When you mention the tabs, I'm guilty of that too. When people look at my computer, they're like, holy shit, no. And I'm like, hey, that's my to-do list. Leave me alone.
well,
I'll get back to it.
what's interesting for me is that I had never thought of it before as a lack mindset of something, that the reason why I was doing it, because I always thought multitasking was a superpower and that I was capable of doing so many things at once. But then realizing that it's more of a, oh, I got to do this and get it done so I don't forget. So that was a big eye opener for me this week.
That's
It-
awesome.
I think it's really important. Like some of us just want to be like totally on top of every text message and every email. And that is, I think, where I lose a lot of time, is just going
Being
from,
active.
oh, someone needs me here, someone needs me here. It could be like totally something has nothing to do with my business. Someone wants to know where a plumber is, right? Or do you have a good plumber? And so then I'll spend time doing that, but I'm constantly on top of, I guess, responding to people as fast as I can, because that's my superpower. But it gets me, at the end of the day, I'm like, what the hell did I do all day?
It's kind of a catch-22
Yeah.
because like you've mentioned this before, it's like, that's why people like working with me. I mean, how frustrated do we get when we try and get a hold of an agent on a deal and hours go by and they
Yeah.
haven't even replied to a text or anything? It's just like, we got to keep this ball rolling. And so, you know, to your credit, being responsive and everything, that's why we ran into somebody at the tanning place. We were going tanning this weekend and she ran into somebody, and I heard his conversation with her, and he's like, I won't do another deal with you. I love working with you. I'd rather work with you than any other agent. Oh, and just going on. And it was
Fill
because
my
of stuff.
cup.
Yeah, it was because of stuff like that, though. It's because you're on top of your shit, you're responsive, you're, you know, educated, and all that goes together. But then the other part suffers, right? Because you're responsive over here and you're everybody loves you for it. But then I heard somebody talking about focus. Terry, we were just talking about Terry's able to jump, boom, now he's focused on this, now he's back on that. On average, they say it takes the average person 20 minutes to get back to the level of focus they were on when they've been distracted. If you're working on a project, you get distracted, think about 20 minutes. So if you have several interruptions during the day, you've lost half of a workday just trying to get back. Okay, where was I? Reorganizing, and then your flow is broken, your momentum is broken. And because a lot of the things we think about, you're pulling from multiple sources and everything to put all this data together, right?
That's right.
And so at some point, it's all in there. And you can see it all, and look, I'm flowing and I'm working on my numbers or whatever, but then if you lose it all, you got to reassemble it. So
And that is why moms that have littles that are trying to grow their business, why it can be so tough for them.
Mhm.
Because their kids need to be number one, right? And their kids are mommy. And so then so that's why it's kind of a superpower to be a mom and be in real estate, and why Shayna and Ashley were kind of
yeah.
trying to help women in that.
Well,
in that
that's a
group.
whole nother conversation, because moms have to give themselves a level of grace and say,
Mhm.
this is my priority,
Mhm.
and I'm working.
Yeah.
And so accepting the level of production during the day to be lower because of that should be part of the.
Yeah.
So what is your solution? What are you saying people should do? So should we just not answer our phone and just focus on that one thing?
Well, it's gonna be different for everybody. Like you've already brought up Terry, and for me, I have to literally headphones on when I want to get momentum on something I'm working on. I have to block everything else out because it's there and it interrupts me whether I want it to or not. So that's just my hack, I guess, to stay focused, is headphones on, use that app. That app is been worth its weight in gold for me when I use it and I focus, because I move the needle on my projects more. So for you, it might be something
And
different.
some of us are still working on it. I've been working on it for 20 years, you know, like because I was told by our team leader at Keller Williams before I was an agent that I needed to do. Turn off your phone, don't be responsive. You only respond during this time and this time. And you know what? I hate working with her because I can never get a hold of her when she's on the listing. So I'm not gonna I gotta find my way. right?
And I think everybody does. It's like some of the other stuff we talk about, like with nutrition or health tax and stuff like that. It's like, all our bodies are different. You know, your vitamin stack is not going to be the same for me. Your paleo diet or whatever is not going to work for me. It's you got to figure out.
I saw one with Josh Melton's post the other day where he talks about how he starts his day really early, right? Like 4:30. I'm like, you're crazy, dude. I'm not listening to you on that one. But he said he started 12 years ago, and it's taken him 12 years to go from 6 a.m. to 5:30 to, you know, and he got earlier and earlier, and now he's adjusted his lifestyle to where he can be very productive because he gets a lot more stuff done in those quiet hours, right? From 4:30 to
He's like totally my mentor on all of that, because I was always like, if Josh can do it, I can do it, and he is literally the one that, I mean, I'm not quite where Josh is, but you find a mentor that's doing something that you want to do that, and that you can say, if that person can do it, I can do it, and that's kind of how I would push myself.
I like a lot of Josh's stuff. I'm just not getting up at 4:30. Sorry.
Well, it worked for you.
He's in bed at 7:30.
That's my problem. I have to go to bed, but
I can't.
That's true.
So,
well, I told
Like 5 hours
you,
is
that was the
good.
first thing she said. What time does he go to bed? And I go, it'd have to be 9 o'clock.
yeah, so like that's our midnight, right? And so if you're ever talking to him at 6:30 or 7, he's spent.
Yeah.
Because he's been going
He's like,
all
"Oh,
day
yeah,
since
I'm
like
done."
4, and a lot of days it's before 4 because he returns a lot of emails at 3:30. So he must have upped that game. But when he was dating Hillary, sorry, this is a tangent here, but when he was dating Hillary, he let her know the rules. No, his wife.
His wife's name.
Yeah, his
Yeah, his
wife.
wife's name. So when they were dating, he set the expectations and he's like, this is the way I live. You know, and so she knew that going into it, and he's like, like with the kids in the evening and stuff, because they have two, 2 kids now and stuff like that. And he's been able to juggle his lifestyle with the kids too. But he just set those expectations and said, I want you to know what you're getting into.
When he was younger, he worked hard, but he played really hard too.
That is
Like,
kind of a
had
theme
both.
in the productivity world, because he says that there's a guy, Dave Allred, who I went down to UVRIA, which is Utah Valley Real Estate Investors Association down there. They had this guy, Dave Allred. He's a big speaker kind of guy, right? And he's a Utah guy, but he's done really well. And he was talking about win the morning, right? It's that whole win the morning thing, right? And he went through that. And then there was one other one where, they just talk about all this morning activity. And there's a guy, it was on Fox News, and there was like Jesse Waters or something, and they had a guy, like, this is a national news program, right? And they have a guy that had a little 5-minute segment, and that was what he was talking about was, he does all these things in the morning. And I'm thinking, Jesus is showing up everywhere I go. It's like, it's morning stuff, right?
To change your circadian rhythm is what they say. And so yours is one way right now. A lot of people had to change theirs, or they just are normally, my parents were both normally early morning risers. And I was always a late morning riser and stayed up way late. So it's just.
There's a lot of validity to that, because when you own your morning, when you have a routine that you get done and accomplished, you're ahead for the day. When you put it off, and I'm speaking for myself, right? When you put it off, or you don't work out, or you sleep in or whatever, it seems like I'm behind. I feel like I'm behind all day.
Yeah.
And my energy is different.
For me.
Less productive. Yeah. Awesome. Well, obviously we could talk on that for a few more hours.
It's actually really good stuff. It is really good stuff. It's the key.
It is.
Paying attention to those things.
Well, let's just kind of
Keep going.
I keep having ideas on the different things I'm going to say. So let's talk a little bit about the market, because it's the topic of the day, right? Everybody's asking what's the market. So I want to hear from you guys and what your conversations are like. But one of the things that we can rely on is stats and data, and what are the experts saying? These next few slides are from Keeping Current Matters. If you guys aren't aware of KCM or Keeping Current Matters, it's a national firm that aggregates the data. They don't dive deep into local markets. That's our job.
Is that a subscription service you get, Jeff?
You can subscribe to their newsletter and you'll get a lot of information, but it is a subscription if you want the graphics and the images, and you can even brand their posts to you and share their posts with your branding on it. It is national data, but it starts the conversation.
I'm curious, like before social media was a big thing, you had a subscription to Keeping Current Matters when we were younger.
Mhm.
What did you do with that? Were you sending it in email form? Or were you just,
I didn't even utilize it that way. It was for my own knowledge and education back then. It was just like, I need to know shit, right? If we're gonna have conversations about the market, we have to research, we have to listen to what others are saying. We have to, I mean, because some people, that's their job, like with KCM, their whole platform is to take all the data and commentary on the experts and what they're saying, and they're strategists, and, you know, they're compiling the data for us, because we don't got time to do all the research ourselves, but we can quote sources. This is what the experts are saying. This is this. Again, it's to start the conversation so that we can help our clients accomplish what their goals are. And most people want to buy real estate. They're just nervous, or they're scared, or they're uncertain, and they're not taking action. So some of this data helps with the talking points. And so what the experts are saying is that home prices are going to climb over the next 5 years. How many people you've heard say they're waiting for the crash, or it's going to crash again? It happened last time, right? Even though we know all statistical circumstances are different from 2000, what happened in 2008, the causes of that crash don't exist today. And so we need to kind of know what some of those things are. And if all of the experts are saying that, so this is the home price expectation survey from Fannie Mae, you can see on there, but they compile the average data from hundreds of economists and specialists, okay? And that's why they're presenting this as that aggregate, say this is what the experts are saying.
And you know, Jeff, this kind of a up and to the right rise is a lot healthier than what we saw during COVID, right? In any product or any market, you know, if you get insane appreciation, you're probably gonna have a sharper downturn. And if you have this steady 2, 3, 4, 5% kind of a rise, that's actually, I think, better for everybody.
Right, and look at historical averages, Steven. I think I might have a website up still on my computer. I'll share something else with you.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it gets back to this thing with the nervousness. I mean, people, you still have real estate needs, right? If you're a downsizer, or you're a first-time home buyer, right? I mean, you're not buying necessarily because you want to, or because it's convenient, or I've timed the market. You're buying out of necessity, right?
Yeah.
You have to, because of life events, because of your situation and circumstance. So there's still millions of people out there that have to buy houses. They have to buy houses, right? They're not, I guess they could go rent, but I mean, you know, they're doing it for reasons that are very motivating.
And think of what the averages mean, right? I mean, they're taking the national data. That means some of them aren't appreciation,
Right,
they're appreciating this much, and some of them much more. So looking at our local data is super important, because I feel like we're on the higher end of this
We've got a
curve.
great story in Utah.
For sure. And we need to be telling that, right? And so if nationally, if they're taking that average, or basically what they're saying is real estate's still a good investment. It's going to go up over time. And even if you take these seemingly lower appreciation rates based on what we've been experiencing lately, it's still going to go up over time, and it could counteract any drop in interest rate that you waited for. You're going to pay more for the house anyway. So this other part of this slide has like, when you're thinking of appreciation, you know, you can come up with an example of a price range and what that means over time or whatever. And then compare that with rent, and which is just an expense. That has no return value whatsoever. When Lynn and I were young, I mean, all we really cared about was locking in our housing expense. You know, just locking in your monthly cost, because you can look back, oh, my parents paid this much for their house, and all that kind of stuff. So there's
Well,
gonna
you know,
be,
and you could do the same exercise on interest rates too. You could run a $5,000, $100,000 house, 20% down. At what are we at now? 7% interest versus 6%, and then just say, wow, you saved a whopping, you know, $3,000 in interest. Is that worth delaying your decision by 2 years? And then to your point, oh, and my house price just went from 500,000 to 575. And so, you know, you have competing forces. So, yeah, I mean, you can run those little quick calculations in your loan calculator yourself, and just have those numbers written down or in your head. When people start spewing that off, right, you can just refute it and say, well, but have you thought about this, and just give them the numbers.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Hillary, Shayna did, oh, it's gone. What happened? Did you see me drag that other, website? Oh, there it is. Did you guys see that new graph? Did that just change for you guys?
Yep, we can see
Okay,
it.
perfect. It's just another way of showing what we already talked about, but it goes back further. Let me get my mouse over here. Look at that, going clear back before 1990. Here, of course, we got, 2006, 2007, this to 2013. It was Q1 2013 when prices really started going up again. This is important because time cures all things. How many people were probably really upset at the low prices they were buying their houses at 2012, right? Because people weren't buying because they kept dropping. How happy would you be if you bought? You did, right? Didn't you guys buy?
I know, you're so getting smart.
Yeah, Terry's portfolio right there. Right? So some people won, but at the
I
time,
had a great agent, told me everything I needed to do.
we talk about this all the time. People, they have tunnel vision, right? They're just looking at today and that fear and that uncertainty, and they're not taking our prices in 2012. Are they gonna drop lower? What if I screw up? Look how, they're gonna keep going down. Well, if your objective was to live in that house for 10 years or whatever, what if it did go down? What if you bought in 2010? And then the next 2 years you're going, oh my gosh, there goes my equity, right? It's still dropping. Over time, look what happened.
Well, Jeff, just case in point, and you guys are about the same as us. We bought our house in Draper, the one we live in today, our primary residence, in 06. Literally, at the right there, I mean, at that very top,
Yeah.
right, 06, right there.
You and I, yeah.
And
we
then
bought
it
at the same
just,
time.
we're like, for the next, whatever, 6 or 7 years, it was just like, oh god, our house is worth a lot less than we paid for it, right?
And now they're worth more than double.
But now it's more than double because, we move out or,
Yeah.
We're
This is,
so
Lynn and I
lucky.
got married in 1990.
We're so
right?
lucky.
And
that we-
see that bar right there? Apparently we were in a recession. Back then, nobody told us. We just kind of like moved forward. Yeah, that year bar.
Well, yeah, it was crazy because you have different mentalities. You have the mentality of the entrepreneur that is thinking, if I get this set now and as time passes, rents, values will go up. And then you have the mentality of the 9-to-5 human that has been told debt is bad. And you take those two and combine and marry them. It's just
Yeah.
Jeff and I. And it's very interesting to see that mentality of what Jeff has on, looking at the future versus the here and now, where that got us. And so listening to other people that do look at the stats and do look at the way the projections are is actually a very good way
And this is
try to
just
look at
backup
real estate.
info, right?
Mhm.
From the experts and from historical data. To get people to do what we know they should do anyway, because a lot of them think, well, you're a real estate agent. Of course, you're going to tell me it's time to buy. Of course, you're going to tell me it's time to sell. I've literally had people say that to me, over the years. Just say, do you think it's a good time to sell? I'm like, hell yeah. And literally the response is, of course you're going to tell me that. I don't even know why I asked you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we got to back it up, right? Not just like,
That's why
it
you
can't
always
be
go
generic
in with,
opinion.
let's first see if the scenario is you keep this as a rental.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then you move on to the sale, right? So you let them know you're looking out for their best interest.
I also like the answer, it depends,
Mhm.
instead of the, yes, it's always a great time to buy, because it depends on every person's different situation.
Mhm.
And so that also lets people know that you're looking out for them, not just, an overarching, like, yes, it's a great time.
So we ask questions, right? It's like when they're asking us if it's a good time to do whatever, you ask them, well, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Why are you thinking about buying? What would that mean to you? How much has your rent gone up over the last 5 years? You make it personal. They're like, yeah, it's getting unaffordable. Some people are thinking of moving out of Utah because the affordability is so low. They can't afford it
People
anymore.
are moving out of Utah.
Mhm.
Hi, Eric. I see you.
He's like this big bump. Oh my gosh.
Good thing he likes attention.
Yeah, no, he's got something else going. He told me he was gonna be late. Okay, Ash,
Yep. So we've taken a little bit of time on our other stuff, so, but we've got some
Sorry.
time for our idea section. I don't know if Terry's been in here when we brought this.
Okay, so for those of you that are seeing
That's
this
what
for
the
the
little-
first time, Shelly's like, what am I in for here? No, we talk, I heard it on a podcast or somebody a long time ago. When you take one idea and made it with another idea, it can create a whole new concept or a whole new idea that didn't exist before because of that collaboration. So the masterminding, collaboration and sharing of ideas makes us all better, because here's the deal. If like, use money for an example. If I have a $20 bill and I give it to you, you now have a $20 bill and I got zero. But if I give you an idea and you give me an idea, we each have two. We don't lose the one we already had when we give it away, right? So I've heard it explained like that, is it compounds, and we need more information, but we need more creativity. We need to be problem solvers. We need to be the solution for our clients. You are that for staging, right? You need to educate them though on why they need it. Homes sell for more, they sell faster. There's data and stats on that. I think it's like 25. Oh, well,
Yeah.
peeked at your video. I won't.
Yeah.
I almost forget. So Shelley's gonna talk to us a little bit about staging here in a minute.
Well,
And
I'd love to hear from her on, how do you convince someone that is not affected by, how do I explain it? I have a client right now that he doesn't think any of that stuff matters because it doesn't matter to him at all. And so to convince him to spend any dollar amount on it is like,
well, let's table the staging
Yeah.
questions and conversation, because we got a specific
sorry.
spot for Shelley
I
to
told
share
the
some of
sex
that.
over about me.
Dana, Eric, Hillary, anybody on there? Do you guys have anything that you want to discuss on this segment, on challenges you're having, or a specific win, something that's worked well for you? Anything that fits here?
I can't think of anything right now. Shocker.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Let's keep moving forward here.
So last week we had Sid in for our training, and she did a really awesome job. She was
It was
teaching us
really
about
good.
branding and how to brand to your authentic self, and to really get in touch with, those things that you really care about. One slide I remember, and I can't quote it exactly, but something that I remember that really stood out to me was where she was talking about your branding and your marketing, and how there's certain things you can measure and there's certain things you can't. So like, we can measure the likes on a post, we can measure the shares, we can measure how many comments we get, we can measure how many phone calls we get. However, you can't measure certain things such as trust and connectivity, like,
Influence.
and those things overall are what is probably gonna bring you the business, right? It's not that someone's liking your posts, it's that they start to trust you and they care about you. She's
Well,
filming me.
But the point she was making is some people get either elated or frustrated based on those trackable things, and they're not realizing the behind the scenes things that they can't see in the relationships that maybe being forged. Because hopefully we've all run into somebody that has made a comment about what we're doing in our life, or a vacation, or grandbabies, or something like that. And because you haven't talked to them personally in so long, they only could know that from your social media, right? But yet you weren't aware of it, right? You had that experience. It's like surprising to me sometimes. It's like catches me off guard, or somebody starts talking to me about my pool or something like that, and I haven't talked to them about it. So anyway,
Yeah, that's the only way you really know who's looking, is if you you say something. And that's why it is important that if you do have clients or friends or whatever, that if they do post something, just saying something on there so they know that you are, send them that happy birthday or congratulations or whatever. Even if it's just on social media, they at least know that you're there.
That's a time block too, right? Is,
Yeah.
jumping on there. No, I know people have talked about this. They go on there purposely. I was like, I jump on, I do 10 likes and 5 comments or whatever the number is, and then they jump back off. So they're at least getting some engagement and letting people know, hey, I see you, I see you. Like when my brother passed away, this kind of just popped in my mind. There was people from high school that reached out to me that were friends that he hadn't seen in person since high school. But they mentioned that they built a relationship with him online through Facebook and through Messenger and through comments and through likes. They felt like they knew each other and they hadn't seen each other since high school. It's kind of interesting.
Training this week, we got a panel. We're excited about it. We've got Corey, Tawny, Stephanie, and Andrew coming in. We're gonna do it at Edge Homes. So we're not gonna be in the office. We've got a different location and we're just excited to hear from everybody and.
We had a Zoom call with these guys and an hour went by like that. We were just kind of like prepping and talking about what we're gonna be talking about. It's gonna be good. These guys have a lot of knowledge and expertise in the industry. It's got a unique dynamic to have an appraiser on there. So he doesn't have as much of the client relation stories and stuff and those kind of conversations. But he's got a really good take on what's happening.
Well, and he's also a really good person to have in your phone, because when I think that there's something off on the size of my house that I'm listing, because it's been different on every MLS listing, it's different on assessors, and I'll have him go measure for $150. And I've had him do it several times, and I can also ask him questions. He's really, really nice that way.
I need to follow up with Brianna Greenwood, because she called me about a pricing issue she was having with a unique home. And we chatted about it, but then yeah.
That's what I'm doing for this.
Yeah, the acre lot one on the little.
Yeah,
ski
1.5
pond.
acres, yeah.
Mhm. Awesome. So you're going down there for the staging consult.
There's for pre-listing consultation, just to kind of help them with, not necessarily staging their house, but seeing what they can do with what they have already.
Perfect.
And how much is a pre-listing consultation?
$150.
Yeah,
For
that's
the
well
first,
worth it.
for the first hour, if it takes a little longer, her house might take a little longer because it's 7,000 square feet. So it's like an additional $25. It's not much, but then we do a detail. Do you want me to get into that or just wait?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I did it again.
Shelley wants to hear.
You can tell I just love Shelley.
Anyway, you guys, I hope you're gonna attend this panel discussion. These guys are all awesome, great relationships there. But it's a great value add to invite other agents you work with. Even if they don't make it, tell them about it. It is gonna be on Zoom. We're gonna record it. So it's gonna be a lot of good information. I recorded our Zoom call with all of them on there, and that alone could be a presentation. It was really good. There's a lot of good commentary there. So I'm looking forward to that one. That one's next week.
And then this is what we have coming up the weeks following. I just want to get to Shelley's presentation. So anyway, you can scan the QR code and go to the training calendar. If you haven't registered for the panel and you want to, you can get to the training calendar that way.
Can I skip through this stuff?
Yeah.
Look at you.
I was gonna say the panel is a really good one to invite agents to that might not be doing the business they want to be doing. Just to give them more education, because the more education we have, the more talking points we have. So.
Well, and that's the key that we talked about on Zoom is there was so much good conversation that taking notes and being able to then take that to your clients or your potential clients or even just family, friends, make a post about it. There was just a lot of good takeaways from their perspective on what's going on. So as you guys can already see, we got Shelley Morrison in the house and Terry. So we've started doing this kind of like expert tips. We might have missed a week or two, but we're trying to incorporate that in there just to introduce you guys to professionals that we love and things that are going to add value to your business. Did you want to say?
No, I just put some information here. You've got a website as well that we can share. Yeah. I'll share the website when I post this in Team Limitless later. But yeah, Shelley's got a video that you want to start with the video?
Yeah, just start with the video, give everyone an idea of what it is we do.
Okay.
As it answers a lot of questions and then we'll answer your questions.
Okay.
86% of potential buyers find it easier to visualize the property as their own when it's professionally staged. On average, a home that is staged sells for 25% more. 73% of professionally staged homes spend less time on the market than a vacant home. Investing in professional home staging is oftentimes much less than taking a price reduction. Set the Stage is the premier professional home stagers in the real estate industry. We maintain high standards by utilizing professional movers, talented stagers, and always keeping our inventory fresh and trending. A pre-listing consultation is a great service that helps sellers prepare their house for marketing to potential buyers. We help them shift their mindset and break down the daunting tasks of what to do and where to begin step by step. When it comes to short-term rentals, investors love our affordable wholesale buying power and talented design team. We offer multiple solutions, from supplying only the furnishings to complete turnkey packages and creative professional solutions to existing properties that will yield a greater ROI. Whether it's a model or parade home need, builders love our ability to get a project staged quickly and our affordable model home staging packages. We're not a one-size-fits-all. We have options from renting to buying furnishings that cater to the builder's needs. Set the Stage is the solution and marketing tool for all your staging and furnishing needs.
They can scan, I know that's a good video, they can scan that QR code too, and that'll give them all the information too.
Perfect, is that the same one that was on here?
It should be, that one should be the
Yeah,
same.
that one would be harder to show.
Yeah, hold it up. this
Yeah, you guys scan that, so Shelley, tell us a little bit more.
Okay, so, well, I mean, I'm kind of, I usually do this a little bit differently, but since we're
That's
already
okay.
engaged in this, but our staging company, we're located in American Fork. We have all brand new furniture right now, because we did open our doors in June. But it has been fun. We have a lot of furniture, and I think the thing with us and Set the Stage is in Salt Lake as well. So we have a North Salt Lake area, and then now Utah County, St. George as well. So as we all work together, so don't feel bad if you have to use the Salt Lake area too. I mean, yeah, well, of course I love the business. If you guys request me, I can come and go anywhere. I just can't go and solicit our area here because I'm Utah County. But basically, with that being said, I can't, don't feel bad, because I've even staged Jordy's houses already. So we've staged 2 of Jordy's houses out in Saratoga Springs and Payson. And we're just a family. We all work together with everything. As far as staging goes, you had a question as to how to convince your clients?
I was watching that, and actually that video would be really good.
I was gonna say, that's what you need to do, is show that video.
Is that a share of it that you
Yeah,
give to your
absolutely.
clients?
Yeah, we send that to the brokers, everyone. That is a seller for you and for everyone.
That
You
is the
share with your
question,
client.
why? What am I gonna make off of this? And to me, to be honest, I see such a massive advantage having a house staged. It's just when you happen to have a let's say you're discounting already, because for me, it's like, okay, I know this home would sell for so much more if it were staged and the client doesn't want to do it. You want to stand out as an agent.
Well, here's
Those
something
stats,
to add to them too, is tell them that they're not having, the only thing they have to pay out of pocket is the deposit. Each of us have a different, we all have our own different, our deposit, we chose to be a little bit higher because our front end costs are a lot harder for us up there, where our moving expenses are a little more, but then they pay the rest at closing. So nothing really has to come out of his pocket other than the deposit. So that seems to be a big mover for a lot of people as well, if they think they don't have to pay that check. The unfortunate thing is if their house doesn't sell, then yes, they do have to pay for it. And
So give them an idea of average costs.
an average cost,
And
so
timeframes and-
okay, so our average cost for a stage, our stages start at $2,600, and that's like a level 1. That would include 6 living spaces. So basically a primary bedroom, the primary bath, a main bath, your kitchen nook area, and your main family area, and then a main bath. So that's 6 areas. Anything else in addition to that, if you want an office, another family room, or another bedroom, game room, whatever, it's an additional cost, and it all depends on that particular room. So that would be determined at the site on how much furniture would be needed. Sometimes this is really small, so usually anywhere from $250 on up to $450 in an additional cost. We can extend contracts. We usually stage, well, not usually, we always, our stages are 2 months. We require a deposit of $1,000 because we have moving expenses and then team members that have to go. And that way it covers our upfront costs so that we're not out any money. Then that would include the 2-month stage. And then if by chance they need to have an extension, we can also do an extension of another 4 weeks. And then that would be an additional $450 just to keep the furniture in the house. And that would have to be paid up front though, and not at the end is the only difference with that. But then then it stays in there. And we always recommend, and you guys know, because not to pull the furniture out too soon in case the sale doesn't go through, because then to have to go restage it again, you're gonna be paying it all over.
I wait till very last
Yeah.
minute, like very last minute. But the other thing is she's talking about an empty house. What about when someone
Has all their stuff in it.
Mhm.
So basically on those houses, if they're still living in it too, we typically don't do our furniture in houses that people live in because it just can get damaged and so forth, but we can do enhanced stages where we can bring pieces in or advise them on what they can buy to do it, which is probably the better way to go, because sometimes it's really hard to mix our stuff with their stuff, and then when you have to go pick it back up, you know, there's always that problem of getting their stuff mixed with yours or vice versa. So what we typically would do is go in, like what I'm gonna do with Brianna is kind of give her clients some advice on what she can do, what she can use of her own things. Like we did a house, it was a friend of ours, the condo downtown, and Shayna will know because she was there, but we moved things around and kind of resituated a few things because they had it laid out way differently. I did make a suggestion and maybe making one of their rooms different than what they had it. They chose not to do that, but it was fine. It didn't affect anything at all because it was just going to be a lot more work for them to do it. And it turned out really good, but I ended up just kind of going on their permission. I went to the accessory stores and I just bought pillows and plants because it just didn't have any decoration. I picked up pictures from there, and towels, everything, and pictures they had. Her sibling is an artist. He lent me all the artwork, so I took all the artwork and me and Kenzie hung it all up, and it looked great. I mean, I felt like, I would have loved to have seen a few more pieces in there, but they were okay with that, and I didn't want to push their boundaries too much either. But it worked and it looked good, and so my advice is just biggest thing with most of the people that I have seen in their houses is just getting rid of junk, getting rid of stuff off the wall.
It's not what to keep, it's what to get rid of.
Yes, it is depersonalizing the house, getting pictures down that don't belong up there, getting rid, just making it as simple as possible. Less is better, or less is more, I should say.
And can I make a comment on that? How much value it has to bring in a professional to tell them that. Our job is to market and negotiate the sale.
Yes, yeah.
The presentation of the property should be done by a design expert, right? So you telling them that is way different than us telling them.
Yeah, and then they're not offended by you guys. They can be offended at us if they want to be, but usually, you just have to we come across and, we've been doing it and we see it, and Heather, my partner, has been doing it longer than I have. But the thing is too, is we also, I will go home and the pre-listing consultation is a huge add-on for real estate agents. Costs $150 to do. And usually you guys, we would pay for it, you as a real estate agent, and pass that on to them. But it's not like a huge moneymaker for us, but what happens is it's just a great thing for you guys, because I will spend maybe an hour, 2 hours, sometimes more, typing up a detailed letter or email to them of every single thing that I've looked at in their house. Because I go through, when I do it, I take pictures of everything, every closet, every cupboard we open drawers, we open everything. And I always tell them in advance, okay, I apologize, but we're going to be really intrusive here. But we look at the outside, the inside, the garage, bathrooms, and then I'm taking pictures, and then I go home and I look at my pictures, and then I detail out my list of what we talked about, so they know and they can remember. And then in addition, we have a list that I leave with them that tells them what to do, your clients, when it's all staged, what they can do to help when there's gonna be a showing. Clean up, you know, just simple things like give someone a task. Yes, it's actually a checklist.
One thing Shelley recommended for the downtown condo that we listed in her consultation was light bulbs. So we went throughout the house, changed that to 2,700 Kelvin yellow light bulbs
It's
to
sometimes just a simple
5,000
thing.
daylight. I can't believe the difference that made, right?
Oh my
Yellow
gosh,
to bright,
yes.
right? So.
Yeah, or just in like, we're gonna buy all new lights and stuff, and really, I just told him, you know what, honestly, you just need to paint the one you have, looked just fine. It was literally, nothing else could be replaced. If they did, it would be the exact same thing, it just would be in a different color. They painted, well, Terry painted it, but. They let us do that thing. It's the little small things,
You
you
guys
know.
really, go above and beyond. That
Yeah,
is
well, and
amazing.
we did, when we went and I went to the nursery and I bought plants and trees and we decorated their deck up there, because they didn't have anything on the deck, so we did all of that and it looked beautiful when it was done, but it's just little things that make it feel like a home,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
people want to visualize themselves in the house, and they
And they
can't
want to
do
feel
that
close.
and they can't do that if everyone else's junk is in there, you can't say that to a client, you can't say junk, and really decluttering is actually a harsh
So
word.
get all the
Back to Lynn's question, and this kind of goes to the agents too, because what always happens is if they decide to do it, they back you into a time corner, right? And they don't have, or they back themselves into a time corner. They don't have time to get it done, right? Because it takes a little bit of time to get staged. So if you're trying to do it yourself, how long is that gonna take you? And where are you gonna get all your stuff? And you gotta get pictures done, you wanna get the listing up, so you run into this time crunch, right? What these guys can do is compress that timeline. They can come in, they can do it fast, they can turnkey it, and literally within that much time, of course, they need a little time too, but they can fix that problem for you and your clients.
Yeah.
And then they get a much better product and pictures are done.
And we have, I mean, if we have the furniture and we can get the movers, I mean, we've turned it around like in 3 days, we've gotten the stage done. Like from when they called us and got it in there and done it, we love a little more notice than that, because it's always really hard sometimes to get the movers, and also we want to make sure we have the right furniture for the house, so that's always just the biggest thing is like, okay, are we getting some furniture back, or what do we have in our, because we want every house to look great. We don't want to hodgepodge and do all that, so.
I've been super impressed with Set Stage.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have a really
the
great.
latest and greatest, that's the comment that I've heard from people that are trying to compete. Or even, that is having the latest styles. And I know for a fact, I watch Set the Stage, buy the latest and greatest, and even people can buy the furniture that you guys put out, right?
And that is
Well,
the big thing I think that people need to understand too, as real estate agents. If you guys stage a house of ours, all the furniture is for sale. Everything in the house is for sale. So if you have a client that comes in and they want to buy the house or buy the house and the furniture, we can do that. And we have a price list in each house that says how much each piece of furniture is if they want to have it. So, and in addition, we sell furniture. So if you want anything different, we can sell furniture. And if you want gifts for your clients, if you want a chair that they thought, oh, I love that chair, things like that. We
A
can do.
little housewarming present.
That's a good
The
idea.
other thing too that they can do is for the people that are selling and moving to their new house, if they have furniture needs, you can help them with that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So listen to everything you just said. That's definitely a loss leader for you to do all of that for $150 to $200 or whatever,
Yes,
going into all
yes.
that. But I would dare say that could help you in some cases
Yeah.
get the listing, because you're showing a team effort, professional, and I mean, it really is so cheap.
Yeah.
But I can see why you do it, because you want the relationship with the agents. We're gonna get the next vacant house, or maybe we'll sell some furniture to the buyer or
Yeah.
whatever. It's a great foot in the door,
Exactly.
and the value for us as agents
Exactly.
is just amazing.
And one of the things I said in the video that I think is really important is that it's all the steps, right? Sell faster, sell for more money. And then if they say, well, geez, is it really worth it? The big one to me is paying the money to do the stage is a lot more affordable than a price reduction.
Yeah.
Right, so if you have a house that's 600 grand and you're gonna take from 600 down to 575 or 550, that's $25,000 to $50,000. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
The stage is $3 grand, right?
And it might make it so you don't need to do that price
Well,
reduction, right?
that's the exact point, right? Yeah.
So I bring that up every single time when we're talking about staging, because nobody talks about price reductions in $2,000 increments. It's always
That's such a
tens
weight.
of thousands of dollars, right? So one price reduction, could stage 4 homes.
Yeah.
You know, so the net to the buyer or seller is what they
And-
need to look at.
And you know, the other thing too, like when you walk through a naked house, it's completely empty, right? You see every blemish, the walls, the baseboards, the
I bring
carpet,
that up
right?
a lot.
Because it's naked. I mean, then it's, unless they just had it all freshly redone, remodeled, repainted, right? But if they haven't, if you have it staged, you don't pick up on every little stupid thing that could possibly be used as a negative, right?
Well,
So-
and the sad thing is some of the houses, you know, the newer houses, they obviously look great. It's the ones that don't look so new that actually really need the staging. And of course, we love those new houses because our furniture shines in them, but it's those ones that are a little run down that actually it does a great job for hiding those blemishes like you're talking about.
Mhm.
I used an example of a client that I was helping, and we were looking at like just little Kearns houses, right? He was renting, I was helping sell the landlord's house, and then I helped him buy a house. And I was watching him as he went through these houses, and of course, you know, showing him the things that were wrong with houses as we walked through. Well, we went through one house that was just awful, but it was staged. And he loved that house. He wanted that
And he
house.
probably couldn't
And-
tell you why.
And he's just like everything about it. And I'm like, I kept showing him all these things because I could see what was happening, right? He could not see past how great the house felt to him. And I'm like,
That is a really good story.
oh my gosh, yes. And this is a guy, I think he's probably about 60 years old.
Yeah.
And literally, and everything about that house was a like, bang, 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 no, 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 no.
Wow,
And,
that's a
but
good
anyway,
story.
he wanted
That's
it.
a great story for the sellers. You're
Yes.
saying, and even
Yeah.
Well,
if it's not your
a great
story.
for
guys,
you
steal
with
it.
your clients too, is to telling them that too, like your one you're just asking about.
You
that
would have
story
never
would be
thought
good
that
to
he
share.
would be
Yeah.
that way either.
Yeah.
But I knew that's why he loved that house, because that house had everything.
You need to
that you
share that
told
with
me
your
he
one you're
didn't
just talking
want.
about. Cause that's a good story.
Yeah.
Well, another thing I'd like to bring up too is for us, if you guys as real estate agents have short investors, like if you had Terry, if you have any of those are key for us. We'd love to be able to help with short-term rentals or vacation homes, model homes, things like that. Because we can do the whole turnkey. That is why I got into it, is because they did it for me and Terry. I loved the whole concept of not having to do anything when we did our houses up there in Hideout. Because they literally bought the furniture, they staged the furniture. I didn't have to do anything to our Hideout one up there. I mean, I had pre-bought a bunch of stuff. They actually did more Craig's than they did ours, but that's what sold me. So I didn't have to do 3 of them. I just had to do ours. But the difference is when I did our one in Sandy, I spent the exact same amount of money on the same kind of furniture, you know, the same amount of furniture as what I had to pay for up there, but I got brand new stuff. Was set the stage. My stuff was shopping around Facebook Market, running all over town and doing it,
Yeah.
doing the boxes, cutting them up, putting things together. So that is a huge
Well,
thing. So if
yeah.
you have investors, that's a huge plus for them. They don't have to do anything.
Well, and I think one of the things that Shelley brings to the table too is that she's a real estate agent, so she's got that perspective, right, in the market. She has been working with me for the last 12 years as a long-term rental investor, and then we have the 4 short-term rentals. So she's got a really good perspective on the market as an expert that can help your clients, right? She's done this for a while. And yeah, she does a great job because she's been in the market for a while and knows kind of all sides of the business, and she does a good job with, I think, the process, so. And, you know, in addition to the set stage stuff that we have up here, I mean, they've got a Facebook page, they've got an Instagram page, so if you guys wanna look at what they do, they post all the eye candy out there on that, so if you wanna see the cool stuff, like that video, you know, they have
I
that.
try to put all of our stages on our Facebook, because you can do the albums better on there. So you can look on the albums of that and see some of our stuff. So
No, that's super awesome.
do you have any questions? I apologize, because I just.
No, that's good.
This is perfect.
I can also attest to the quality of the furniture and stuff that you guys use, and because Terry, remember we had to use somebody other than set the stage one time, and we were moving their furniture around.
Oh, man.
I mean, they had end tables hanging out over the entry
Yeah,
to the next room, and it was just like, we're going, what were they thinking?
yeah, it wasn't, no, yeah.
It wasn't a great
I can
experience.
think back on that staging that we used, and there's, I mean,
Night and day.
C versus A player, C player, but it was a big difference.
And as a reminder, Shelley can help you wherever your listings are.
Thanks.
And she's
Jeff.
awesome, so.
I did such a great job on the remodel of that house that it trumped the furniture.
That was so good, they didn't even notice the furniture. Awesome, so good.
Kelly, I have a question. So will you come up to Davis County as well? Or is that too far?
I can go to Davis County. Is it for a stage or for a pre-listing?
I don't have anything in particular right now, but just for future, I just want to know if you'd come up this
Yeah,
far.
no, we can go wherever we want. The only difference with going that far for any of us would just be just an additional cost maybe on the moving part. Like we would have to charge for that extra hour traveling to and from. That would have to be passed on.
So
But
what would
that's
that
the
be, maybe
only.
an extra $100, $200, something like that?
Yeah, well, our moving expenses are about, like, we have, like, our movers are about 135 an hour, so that would be, you know, an extra, what is that, 270 or something like that. In addition, so that would be the only thing, yeah, we can go that far, it would just be an additional moving cost.
Well, and on those pre-listing things, not everybody does it.
No, and I was gonna say, you know, it is, I can't believe how many, first of all, I've gone to a lot of broker real estate meetings, since I've been doing this, and I am shocked at how many people do not stage and don't know about the pre-listing consultations, and so the pre-listing consultations are huge, but I wanted to share something with all of you guys that one real estate agent does that I thought was pretty impressive. He pays for the pre-listing consultation, and when he has a house that's pretty junky and needs some major decluttering, he actually will go and rent a storage unit for that month. For them to put all of the stuff when we go in and tell them to get rid of, so then it's easier to say, hey, you need to go store this stuff. Then it's easier for them to do that because they have a place to put it. So, I mean, I think you can get a small storage unit pretty cheap, but I just thought, what a great thing, or put something on it, you know, like a bin, I don't know, those metal things. I'd rather do the storage unit so you don't see it in front of the house, but I thought, what a huge add-on, because some of the houses that I've had to go look at for him, they are major, oh my word, just wall to wall stuff everywhere. And so for him to not have a place to put it, it would overwhelm them. So
Mhm.
that's a really, you know, something to add that, you know, I know that hard to have to keep adding on to what we already do, but
That could make the difference between getting the listing and not, though.
yeah, I
It's
thought
like
that was
nobody else has offered that.
Yeah.
right?
I think
Yeah.
that's a great idea. One I haven't heard either.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments for Shelley?
Spread the word, tell your friends.
Yes, absolutely.
And if anyone needs furniture, please feel free to reach out if you guys need anything. If you see something that you love and you have a picture and you know where you know who it is, like take a picture of the tag. I'll try to find the vendor and see if I can get a better deal for you. So, you know, those kind of things, but yeah,
Awesome.
happy to help.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Oh,
We're both clicking at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys our parting thoughts. One thing that I just wanted to bring up is that, a lot of times people think that when you're trying to get yourself motivated, let's say you're not feeling very motivated, that you need to be motivated in order to take action. And then that will lead to more motivation to get more done. However, it's actually the opposite. You need to take the action before you get the motivation, and that motivation actually leads to more motivation. And so I wanted to talk a little bit on that topic. Mel Robbins, she says motivation is garbage, and she talks about this concept about how motivation is just a feeling, and it comes and it goes, and you're not always going to have it. So I just wanted to read like a little quote from her. She says, we've all bought into this lie that we've got to feel ready in order to change, that at some point you're going to have the courage, at some point you're going to have the confidence. The human mind is designed to stop you from doing things that feel uncomfortable, scary, or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things to keep us alive. But in order to change, you're going to have to do things which are scary, uncertain, and difficult. And so what I wanted to do with that is to make our focus for the week is to use Mel Robbins. She has a 5-second rule. So she kind of says, let's say you have this thought that comes through your head of like, oh, I should go talk to that person that's walking past you. And you go, oh no, why would I do that? You start thinking of all these reasons why you shouldn't do it. Instead, you use her rule, 5-second rule of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And she originally thought of the idea of by seeing a rocket ship blast off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. And so and there's a lot of science behind it too, of why you have to take action. Like when you count down, it's like, then it's like, bam, like you want to do something. And she uses it a lot for when she's getting out of bed in the morning. Cause she says what happens is like her alarm goes off. She comes up with like 10 different reasons why she doesn't want to get up. Then she goes to hit the snooze button. She goes, oh wait, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam, get out of bed. So it's just something to help you take action. So I wanted like this week for our focus kind of just to be to try to use that a few times, just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, take action. If it's something that's maybe a little bit like scary for you, or maybe it's just something that's hard for you to do. I think that will be fun to focus on that for the week.
I like that.
It builds confidence too, right? Because when you take action and you're actually acting on your inspiration, intuition, thoughts, ideas, whatever, it builds confidence. But the opposite's also true. We all know the feeling of procrastination. Putting off something we don't want to do just eats at us and eats at us. That feeling now it affects other parts of our life, our relationships and different things. And then once we do it, most of the time, don't we go, oh, that wasn't so bad. Why didn't I do that a week ago? You know, we're putting things off and it kills that moment.
Well, you know, Jeff, like what the action does, how I interpret what you said, usually when you procrastinate on something, it's because you think it's too big of a thing to do right now, so you put it off, right? What action does is it breaks it into baby steps. And so when I do stuff like that, I just start it, I just get it going, because I know I'm not gonna get it all done in the next 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, but I need to start it, so I get it going. Then my subconscious keeps working on it. I go off and might do other things, I come back. So that's how I get the project going, and I break it into smaller chunks versus going, oh gosh, it's gonna take me 10 hours to get this done. I'm just, if you have that mindset, you'll never do it. So action to me is breaking it into smaller chunks.
Love it. It's a great tip.
Awesome. We've got, is Eric still on? Eric, do you have anything for the agent attraction?
I am actually here. Yes. Sorry, I've been off camera today, but first I want to back up to set the stage for just a quick second. Michelle and I have used Set the Stage for a few years now. And, if you guys aren't using professional photographers for your photos, then you're making a big mistake. That's a huge, huge thing. You don't want to take photos with your phone for your listings. But beyond that, I think having a pre-listing consultation for sellers that are planning on living and staying in their home while you sell it is absolutely the best investment you can make in a listing. It's like second to none. And the reason I say that is because it really sets you apart, and it makes life so much easier for you as the listing agent. And I know Jeff mentioned this a minute ago, kind of about how it's easier for someone else to make suggestions. But, when you walk into a listing and you see a bunch of things on the wall or some things you'd like to change, while you're building a relationship and selling yourself on being their agent, you do get that feeling of, I don't want to offend them, make them mad, right? While I'm trying to build this relationship, if it's somebody you don't know well, that takes so much pressure off when you can have somebody else that's a professional designer come in and make those changes and make those suggestions for you. It is so much easier. And it is one of our really sales points for listing presentations is, instead of saying, hey, we do this, we're good at this, we edify other people. Like we say, we have an amazing designer that comes in and will go through every room and closet in your house and tell you exactly what you need to do to make it presentation ready, not just for photos, but also for when people come and look at your home. And it's about getting the maximum dollar for your home. And I don't know the exact stats, but I feel like it's 99% of the people find their home online, right? They're going to find their house online and then go look at it based on how the photos look. Well, if you take great photos and it's not designed well, or it looks, like it's just cluttered and there's too many items or not enough items in a home, it might deter people from even looking at your house. So our goal and our job as real estate agents is really one thing, get as many potential buyers into your listing as possible, because some people will think, well, it's too close to a busy road, or, it doesn't look like that. I don't really want to live in that area. Maybe the square footage is a little smaller than I wanted. But if your photos really pop and you've done a good job on the design work, you get them in the house and then they fall in love with it and decide to make concessions on other things that they might have thought they wanted, but your house is so great they decide to go with it anyway. And what an inexpensive investment to make sure that those photos and those showings are really good.
Eric, one thing I'll add to what you said that kind of popped into my head that hasn't been mentioned yet is if you're somebody's listing a house and they take their own pictures, but they don't really stage the house. Maybe they use old pictures or they do virtual photos. And then, okay, they see that online. They get this expectation in their head of what that house should look like. Then they go see it in person and it's empty. Talk about a psychological, letdown. To me, that's the worst, the worst thing you could do, right? So.
And that's the real reason why you want the staging there, is the way they're gonna feel when they're in the house. Step one is the pictures, so that it gets them there,
But I've heard the virtual photo argument several times, and to me, that's the biggest reason against virtual photos. Yeah, they can make it look good online, but then when they go look at it, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this isn't what we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Eric, thank you for that plug for the pre-listing consultation. That is amazing, and I wish I could take you with me to every agent that I have to talk to.
I actually have a funny story about it too. I helped a friend sell a house probably 3 years ago. And one of our mutual friends, we happened to be hanging out at the same time. He sold his house about 4 months ago with us. And we were all in the room together and we were talking about, oh yeah, we're putting your house on the market. And my friend from 3 years ago, the one thing he said to our other buddy was, so did that lady come around and tell you to move all your stuff out of your closet and tell you to rearrange and take pictures off your wall? Have they done that yet? That was pretty that from 3 years ago, that's what he remembers about the process of selling the house. was that lady that came in and told him to move everything around. So it's impactful for sure. And I love it because like I said, it's easier to edify other people. When you come in and say, our designer, she's amazing, will make your house pop. Our photographer is the best. He will make your house look so incredible online. We're telling all our listing potential and sellers how great our team is. We're not saying how great we are. We're saying how great our team is. So in a way, we're bragging about ourselves, but not at all. We're edifying the people that have taken us years to put together. And that's why your house is going to sell. That's why you want to use us. And that's why we're going to get the most top dollar out of your home in any market. Doesn't matter what market it is. You want to stand above the rest. And for such a small investment to set aside and stand aside from other people or other agents, it's a huge deal. And I know we have got listing referrals because of this, even just the design consultation. There's no question, because it's powerful. So I just wanted to share that since we're on that topic, because I'm really passionate about it. So great job, Terry and Shelley.
Thank you.
Well, looking at before and afters, like if you didn't feel like you were going to embarrass your clients, I never do it because I don't want to offend anyone. But if you were to take before and after photos of a property you walk into and then going through this process after, oh my gosh, it's like a totally different house. Yeah, it's so cool.
If you could do that, you don't have to like post it on Facebook or whatever, but if you could do that and have those, because we have some from previous years. It doesn't hurt to show a potential client the one-on-one. They don't know whose house it is.
Sure.
Because it can be very dramatic.
It's massive.
Look at
Yeah.
the same room before and after, kind of like
Absolutely.
it, that's in your video and stuff.
Yeah, and that video, please share it because that will help you with your clients big time.
We'll go ahead and post that in the Team Limitless Facebook, guys, so you can.
And Jeff, if you want to have Shelley back when it's not part of the communication, you have to come back anytime.
Yeah, yeah, we really should have her come to one of the luncheon.
Yeah, you do that too.
Figure out. But thank you,
No,
that
thank
was
you.
awesome,
Thank
yeah,
you. I
we love you
appreciate
guys. Eric, do you
And,
have anything else on attraction or?
Yeah, just really kind of follow up on what you mentioned earlier. You know, tomorrow, I'm sorry, not tomorrow, Wednesday, we have the panel discussion. Really
Yeah.
a key point is it's not in our office, it's a neutral location at Edge Homes, and a lot of people know where the main office is at Edge. And it's just a great opportunity. Just reach out to 5 or 10 agents that you know and just invite them to hear from some experts and really hear about what's going on in the market and what their take is on where we're at right now and where we're going. And it's not about EXP at all. It's just about you wanting to help other agents have more success, because we're all part of the same, we're all part of the same team as realtors, no matter what brokerage we're in. So just out of sincere, desire to help your fellow agents in potentially a slower time, just call them up and say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm attending a panel of experts. There's lender, title, and a new construction from Edge. We're all going to be learning about what their take is on what's going in the market, and they're on the inside of what's really happening. They have a much more broad spectrum of what we see on a daily individual basis. I'm going to be there. I'd love to catch up and see you. Can you make it? Just keep it really simple and just invite 5 or 10 people and fill up the room a little bit. And I think it's just a really great opportunity to invite and meet some agents you haven't talked to in a while in a really great setting and learn from some great people. So that would be my share today on use this opportunity on Wednesday.
Eric, the point you made that we've been discussing lately that I think is important is the fact that it's not here. We've been talking about how we've all invited other agents to the great trainings we have here, this and that, and the percentage that actually come is pretty low. But as our conversations have been lately, it's like maybe they're a little bit intimidated, or maybe they're not sure what to expect. They're coming into another brokerage office for a training and they're the outsider or whatever. They don't know who else is going to be here, but holding it in a neutral location like this, where it's at Edge Homes, everybody knows here locally who Edge Homes is, and it's in their conference room in their building, a lot more likely to maybe waltz on in there and sit down for a training than, because we're flipping the script a little bit. It's like, I may not go into a Keller Williams office for a training I really like I would go to a lender's, so that where I feel a little bit more comfortable, where there might be other agents there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have done this or how this works, but in Utah County, one of the ladies there had a tour for the houses that we started touring with. And so we go on that, but is that something you guys could do as a Marchant real estate group? Is like, hey, we're going, because we get calls all the time from different agents that you probably do too, that say, hey, come and join our tour today. We're going looking at houses. I mean, that might be a way you guys could do it too, right?
You mean they're looking at their own offices listings or?
No, they're pulling up a couple houses and just doing a broker tour, or an agent tour.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we go out and do that. We started doing that with them, and for us to be able to meet the agents that they're doing it, but it's also great because I get to see the houses. I mean, it's like a twofold for me. I get to tell Terry, I tell him, okay, this is really cool about housing, but I just know that she's doing it on her own. There's another one that does it at another real estate place. And then we get them all the time from Riverton, people that some brokers doing it, but that might be a way that you guys say, hey, come and join us on our tour. Can you just send out an email to everyone and you pick some houses and go tour it? It could be your own listings that you go do. These guys go do they do all, just anything that's out there, but.
Just pick an area.
Yeah, but it might be a way. Maybe you could even just show off your houses by doing it
To
too.
me, I think it'd be really great feedback for agents that don't have their homes moving, because I would say probably in the last 4 months, just talking to other agents, They say, I don't know why my house isn't moving. I don't know why it's priced below value. And it's not moving. I mean, and a lot of houses are up against edge houses, right? Which are giving nice discounts and things like that. But what if the feedback is from the agents walking through? Well, it's because of this,
I
this,
like
and
that
this.
idea.
I mean,
Make that the point of the tour, to
Yeah.
offer that listing agent feedback.
And that's
from-
what they do. They have a little, she has a little list that that you fill out about the house. And you ask all these questions, how do you think it showed? Da, 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 you know, and then everyone fills it out. And then she does a little drawing after. And people put their business cards in and they win like lunch and something. But anyway, that's
Super cool.
a cute idea.
Shelly's a good source for you guys. She sees a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I have to say, for all you guys that are on Jeff's team, he does the best meetings. You guys do the best meetings. I have sat through so many and I'm just like, I was telling Jeff, I cannot believe how negative some of them are. It's like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to be selling houses if I was on this team. I would be like, I need to go. Yeah, like even some of the lenders that are in there, are just like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. Interest rates are high. I don't see them coming down for some time. And then we'd hear Josh Meadows saying, oh, interest rates are looking good. And I'm just like, I don't know who to think anymore.
Oh, that's funny.
So where's the edge at? I forgot their location.
So it's right off I-15 in Bangor.
it's really close to us.
Just out toward.
On the west side,
Is Riverton?
south
Oh,
of
it's great.
Bangor. Yeah, but it's like literally like, you know, they got that new exit, what is it, 6 West? You, when you go from I-15 to Bangor, you have to go up to that
Right,
new
right.
light and do a U-turn, so you get on the west side.
So it's just barely outside of Draper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just over there.
I
Yeah, I mean, cause I know where the 6 went over there, like if you're going to IKEA, right, kind of that way,
Oh, the address is on there.
right? If you're like headed to IKEA and you just keep going straight down Bangor.
Yeah.
Kind of out in that
Mhm,
direction out there, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you could, it's on the, like I said, the south side of Bangor, but
Yeah.
you go up to that new exit that will be UE.
Okay.
Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us on this holiday.
Thanks for allowing us to be here.
Yeah, of course.
It's funny, I never get calls and I had 11 email or 11 texts. And it's like, I didn't like. People know.
Hey, guys.
See you guys. Have a good one.
See ya.
Doing this all the
Just be
time.
busy
And then
and-
you'll
I'll
get
make anything.
all the calls and all the texts.
Well, thank you very much, you guys. That was so sweet of you.
Thank you.
That was fun.